Hi, everybody, and first of all, thank you very much for taking your time out of your day, wherever you are in the world, to come and listen to and watch my webinar on how to easily make 6 and 7 figures a year as a joint venture broker. Now, we did a sound check earlier, and I just wanted to do another sound check again because we've got more people jumped on the webinar. So, could you just give me a yes in the chat box and tell me if you can hear my voice nice and clearly, and then we'll get started. Excellent. Okay, brilliant. Let's get started. So first of all, guys, I'm going to be covering some really, really cool stuff. If most of you know who I am, I'm known as the world's top joint venture expert, and I've been doing this for the last 15 years, and I've trained probably over 150 joint venture brokers around the world. And I just want to show you what's capable and what's possible once you learn how to put joint ventures and deals together. So let's get started. Okay, first of all, a brief introduction to myself. If some of you are on this call and have never heard of me before, which is quite possible, my name is Sahel Khan, and if most of you know a guy called Jay Abraham, who's one of my mentors, Jay Abraham had a partner called Mark Goldman. They did a program together, and Mark Goldman quoted me as a true rags to riches super success story, just like Andrew Carnegie. Another very well-known marketer in the space, Jeff Mills, gave me the name The Master Connector, and at the end of this training webinar session, you'll find out why. I've achieved over $50 million using joint ventures, and I'll take you through step by step a couple of case studies of how I've achieved that and how I've done that. I'm also an international speaker, charging $15,000 a keynote. I've been speaking for the last sort of 5 years all around the world. Don't do as much as I used to do. I focus a lot now on deal making and joint ventures. I'm the only Brit ever to be invited to speak about joint ventures in the US, which says something in itself and lends to my credibility in terms of what I do. I'm also the creator of the Joint Venture Brokering Bootcamp, my signature program where I train joint venture brokers around the world. And I'm also the best-selling author of Guerrilla Marketing and Joint Ventures with one of my mentors, the late J. Conrad Levinson of Guerrilla Marketing. Okay, so what will we be covering today? First of all, I'm going to talk about the real power of joint ventures, why I still believe to this day, basically 15 years later, why joint ventures are one of the most amazing things you can do, not only for yourself as income, but also in your own business. I'm also going to go through the benefits of being a joint venture broker. Now, this is what I predominantly do, this is what I get involved in as a joint venture broker, being involved in deals and deal making. And I'm going to take you through exactly step by step what that entails and what some of the people that I've trained around the world have basically achieved by doing this. We're also going to look at, we're going to do some training actually in this webinar also. I'm going to cover some training modules that I actually do at my, my high-level boot camps. So some of the training you're getting today is actually what I teach at my high-level 3-day joint venture brokering boot camps. So we're going to be covering how to find targeted joint venture partners. We're going to go through how to actually go and contact these joint venture partners. And I'm also going to be showing you how to connect with basically thought leaders, millionaires and billionaires, and exactly how I have done that and how I've achieved that. We're going to talk about how to create 6 and 7 figure joint ventures. And we're also going to touch upon how to use social media for joint ventures. So I'm going to also teach you not only how to create your own 6 and 7 figure deals, also how to use social media to close deals, do deal making, and broker joint ventures. So first of all, the world's most powerful business strategy, and still to this day, I believe it's joint ventures. A lot of people ask me, what is a joint venture? So a joint venture is basically an arrangement of mutual benefit between 2 or more people or businesses that have complementary resources. So basically what that is, and I'll explain to you. Let's say you have a luxury bathroom tile manufacturer and a luxury bathroom suite manufacturer. Now, both of these companies see each other as competitors, but they share the same complementary resources. They have the same customer base who buys each of their products, and they could easily joint venture between themselves and create an additional revenue and additional profit. But most times they don't do that. When you have more than two people in a joint venture, the third person is normally known as a joint venture broker, which is basically what I do. I spot opportunities in the marketplace, and I put companies together, and they make money, and I pick up a commission or a fee for just putting the actual deal together. Okay. So first of all, for all of you guys on the call right now, type in the chat box and tell me what you think is a business's most valuable asset. So if I asked you the question, what is a business's most valuable asset? What would you say? So type it in the chat box and tell me what you think a business's most valuable asset is. Okay, Jim says customers. Matthew says relationship with customers. Arturo says relationship with customers. Arturo, you mentioned about the audio. This training is being recorded, so you'll all get a copy of the training also. So if we do cut in and out, don't worry. The training is being recorded, and you'll all get a copy of the recording also to go through afterwards. Because I travel so much around the world, the internet's not really as good as it is in different places. Cash says knowledge. Steve says relationships. Okay, so here's the deal, guys. You've heard the term "the money is in the list," right? Now, the money is actually in the relationship you have with the list. So the relationship that you have with the list is the most valuable asset that can be leveraged, right? And when a business is sold, this asset is actually valued on the balance sheet. Also, don't forget, it costs 6 times as much to sell to a new buyer. So when you're generating leads, for example, or generating new business, that will cost you 6 times as much to acquire the new buyer. Okay? But when you've acquired the new buyer and then you sell to them again, that's pure profit. But here's the thing. It costs you nothing if you use someone else's list or someone else's lead generation funnel or lead generation system to generate leads for you. It costs you absolutely nothing up front. Okay, so that's the power, the biggest power of joint ventures, and that's what it can deliver for a business. And most of the profit is yours because there's absolutely no advertising costs. The actual joint venture partner is doing all the marketing, and you're basically picking up the leads or the sales and giving a percentage to the joint venture partner. Okay, so let's look at some of the benefits of using joint ventures. Now, joint ventures allow you to compensate weak areas in your business without the actual investment. So let's say, for example, you are an expanding business. And for you, it's always a catch-22 when I speak to clients and they say, well, we don't really have the money for your services, or we don't have the money to expand and buy a call center because we're making sales, but we don't have enough money or a budget available. Now, what joint ventures allow you to do is do away with the budget. Because what happens now is you can go to other joint venture partners and acquire the assets or acquire the skills or acquire basically whatever you need from them without upfront cost. So now there is no budget. So there is no budget you need to put in place. This is the awesome thing with joint ventures. It also allows you to take advantage of unlimited skills and resources. So basically, once you've done one joint venture, it's very easy to replicate that again and again and again. Okay, so this is pretty cool. This is why it's unlimited. You can create unlimited business from joint ventures. Joint ventures also allow you to boost your lead and client generation profits very quickly because now there's no upfront cost to you for paying for leads. You get the leads provided from your joint venture partner, and there's no cost. So you're getting those leads really in essence for free, but you have to either close those leads, or if you get sales from a joint venture partner, you just give a percentage away. Also, joint ventures allow you great branding potential for free, and I'll take you through that, exactly how I've used that. Now, literally 5 years ago, I was an unknown in the marketplace, but doing a couple of joint ventures with some very well-known experts in the market space has really built my credibility up to a stage now where I'm probably one of the top joint venture experts in the world. And also, joint ventures also allow you to make money out of thin air. Now, this is something that people have always been talking about for a long time about joint ventures. What does it allow you to do? Now, joint ventures actually allow you to make money out of thin air, and I'm going to actually prove to you and show you exactly how that's happened, not only for myself, but also for some of my students who are doing joint ventures right now. So let's look at the benefits of being a joint venture broker. If you ever want to get into joint ventures and do deal making, for example, or consulting or brokering, it's a pretty cool space to be in. So as a JV broker, I make lots of money really by just being a middleman. Okay, I'm sitting in the middle between transactions, and I'm taking a commission and a cut of transactions that are happening. I don't need to spend years building my customer list or even creating my own products. I don't need to keep track of any sales, chase people for money owed, or fulfill the actual product fulfillment or the sales fulfillment. All I do is I step in, I leverage other people's resources, and I make huge profits by just bringing these people together. Okay, so that's what I am. I'm a broker. I go out and I find a product, I find a service, I find a distribution channel, and I put them together, and I make big money doing that. So I want to share with you right now, if it's okay, just my personal story of how I became successful at doing what I do today. So this is me in 2006. I built a very successful 8-figure business using joint ventures. Now, I built that business. It was an online software training company by doing just joint ventures. One of the first joint ventures that I ever did was approaching a IT recruitment consultancy. We had created an online training program, and we got them to promote it to their database of 150,000 IT professionals. We gave them a percentage for each one sold, and from that first deal that I ever did, we cleared $350,000, okay, just from that one deal. So the potential for doing joint ventures is pretty huge, okay? And in 2006, I built the business up to 8 figures and I actually sold it. So I sold the company in 2006 to a big 150 million IT group, okay? So it was a part cash, part equity deal. I became a multi-millionaire. I sat on the board of a 150 million IT group, had shares in the actual IT group, which owned my software training company, and life was awesome. I managed through deal making and joint venture brokering, putting joint ventures together in my own business, acquiring the shiny red Ferrari that I always wanted when I was a kid. I always wanted the shiny red Ferrari, which I got, and I lived in a huge 12-bedroom Georgian mansion. It was an amazing time in my life, and that was, I'd say, the peak of my success when I sold that business in 2006. Now, everything changed for me in 2008. Okay, the business the company I'd sold my business to went bust. Okay, in 2008, and I lost everything. So I went from being a multimillionaire to totally broke in a very short space of time. And I really sympathize with people out there who have been in the same boat as I have. Have made a lot of money and lost. I mean, I made millions and I lost everything. We signed guarantees with the bank. When the big group went bust, there was over, multi-millions in debt, which the bank came after us. I was one of the directors, and I ended up liquidating all my assets, selling my cars, selling my house, and I was so broke that I literally moved home to my mum's house, where my old bedroom was still there, because obviously my mum probably knew, and she was psychic, that one day I would come back home, but not penniless and broke. So while I was in that state, I went through a bit of depression, trying to figure out what to do in my life. And it actually hit me that one of the things that I did very successfully in my previous company and building that up to 8 figures was joint ventures. We hardly spent any money on lead generation. We actually went out and acquired JV partners who generated leads for us, and then we sold those leads through my call center, and we gave the company a percentage and a small kickback. So we did very, very well with that business until I lost it in 2006 to the company I sold it to. And 2008 was a turning point for me, really. I had to sit down and really think about what I would do moving forward in my life. And it really hit me. One of the things that struck me was I actually did make money out of thin air. I started my software training company with nothing, and doing joint ventures and brokering deals, I built that to 8 figures. So 2008, there I was, totally broke, had lost everything, gone from being a multi-millionaire to nothing. still having bills to pay. I had so many, bills to pay because obviously living the lifestyle of a multimillionaire, it does, cost money. So when I lost everything, I still had all those bills to pay. So 2008, I lost everything and was totally broke. And then I decided in 2009 to set myself a challenge to make $1 million in 12 months by doing some more joint ventures, because that's the only thing I knew and the only thing I've ever been successful at. I mean, if you search for me on Google, you'll see that I don't talk about anything else. The only thing I ever talk about is joint ventures. And if you watch all my videos, you can see that's all I ever talk about. That's all I've ever done for the last 15 years. So 2009, I decided to set myself a challenge to make $1 million in 12 months, doing a couple of joint ventures. I'd say I'd do like, 3 or 4, 5 joint ventures and get back on my feet. And then I thought to myself, I'd be okay doing that. But in 2009, I completed one joint venture deal, which made me $1.5 million in just 30 days. Right? I got back on my feet very, very quickly. Very fortunate that, doing just one joint venture deal got me back on my feet very quickly. And I'm not the only one. I'm going to share some case studies of some of my students who've actually made more than me on a single deal. I've done more deals than obviously my students, but I have a couple of students who've done have made more on single deals than I have. So who would like to hear how I did $1.5 million in 30 days using joint ventures? Put a yes in the chat box. Okay, everybody, brilliant. Okay, so here's how I did it, and you're welcome to take notes, and I hope you would actually go out there and replicate this. So on a Sunday, so just to let you know, guys, the screen's going to stay with me standing next to the Ferrari because I don't have any other slides for this part, but we're going to do some more training after this. So this is how I did it. I saw a advert for a book, a one-page article in a Sunday newspaper, and the one-page advert said, it was for a book called How to Use Your PC in 2 Hours. That book had sold over 400,000 copies. So what I thought to myself was, remember I used to run a video software training company. I approached the company and said, hey, you've got this book that you've sold 400,000 copies of. Now, I have a video version of the book. Would your current customers be interested in having a video version of the book that you could upsell to them? And the publishing company said yes. And I said, well, I have this video version of the book. And, the publishing company said, well, if you send it in to us, we can have a look at it and we'll let you know if it's something that we'd like to do business with you. So I didn't really have the product. I just pitched it. So remember that, guys, to do a JV, sometimes you need just the distribution channel. Okay. And you don't even need to have the product. You can pitch something as a potential joint venture deal. So I pitched the idea. I managed to get a meeting with this company, direct mail, a big direct mail company. I went to go and see them, and the managing director sat with me and said, Sahel, I'd love to see this DVD that you have that's similar to the book, but it's a video version. Where do you have it? And I actually didn't have it because I didn't have the product. I actually made an excuse and said I left it at home in my office, that I'll actually send it to them. So the managing director said to me that they're really interested in doing a deal, and they would think that it would be a good product for them to upsell to their existing 400,000 customers. Okay, so I left the meeting thinking, damn, these guys really want to do a deal and I don't have a product. So what happened was I went away and I started going to quite a few places looking for this DVD that I could actually acquire. I went to Staples, I went to Office Max, and I called a couple of companies and said, look, I've got a client, and this is what we do as joint venture brokers. Okay, this is what we do. If we find a great product, we approach them and say, hey, I have a client who has a distribution channel. They would like to sell your product, and I think we could do a couple of thousand units. Would you be interested? And most of the companies I spoke to were, but their margins were too low. They would only give me a low margin, and they couldn't rebrand the product, which is what this company wanted. So after a couple of days, I went away and I thought, you know what? I've only got a couple of days left to provide a product for this company. Okay, how am I going to do it? So I went onto a website called elance.com. You might want to write this down, elance.com. And I actually posted a project and said, look, I've got this book. Here are the chapters. Can someone please create a video training course for me? So if any of you know what Camtasia is, it's a screen capture software, and you can create training videos. Someone created a training video for me based on the book, and I paid for it $500 for it, and I owned the license to it, exclusive license. So I took this product back to the direct mail company. They loved it. Even the managing director was saying to me, "Hey, Sal, this is great. It's just like the book, but it's a video." And I said, "Well, my team have been up for a couple of days, doing the work." It was quite funny. The managing director said to me, if this works out really well, we'd like some more titles. And I said, look, let's roll this one out first, see how it goes, and we can move forward from there. So I began to ask the managing director, okay, from the 400,000 customers you have, how many of them do you think we could upsell to the DVD version of the book? And he said, well, I reckon at least 50% of them. So remember this, guys. It's 400,000 is the customer database, and from that, he reckons 50%, so it's 200,000. Okay, so 200,000 is what we're earmarking. And then I started to ask him about my commission. Now, normally they are a direct mail company. They work on a points basis. But I said, look, nothing too complicated. How much do you want to sell the DVD for? They said, well, we want to sell it for $19.95. I said, okay, look, here's the thing. Give me $7.50 for each product that you sell, and you keep the rest, but you do all the duplication, the printing, the packaging, the fulfillment. Here's the DVD. Here's a license, right? Licensing is something that I do a lot of as well, and I'll talk more about that. Actually, we do a lot of licensing in our private brokers group. And I gave them a license and the DVD, and I said, here you go. Go and do the upsell to your existing customers using my product. Here's a license, and that license is a royalty. I get paid $7.50 for each one you sell. So I took out my agreement, my joint venture broker agreement, my joint venture contract agreement, and in the agreement it said that I had access to 400,000 customers. Now the managing director said to me, Sahel, if this works really well, I'd love to roll this out to my whole list, or my whole customer list. And I said, okay, so how big is your customer list? 4.2 million customers. So, I went back, changed the contract, went back and said, okay, this gives me access to 4.2 million customers. And, we did the campaign, rolled it out, and the results were phenomenal. We did just over 201,000 units, and my cut was $7.50 per unit. So if you can work that out in your head, roughly about $1.5 million. So that was one of the first major multi-million dollar deals, actually million-dollar deals that I did, and that got me started doing more deals as a joint venture broker. So I wanted to take you through that right now, step by step, exactly what I did, and let's break it down. So here's the $1 million joint venture deal that I did. I found a list of 400,000 buyers and contacted the company with a JV proposal, okay, without the product. I ended up using elance.com to create a complimentary product for just $500. I introduced and licensed the product to the list owner, making $7.50 per unit sold without handling any fulfillment. We did a total of 201,462 units, and I collected just over $1.5 million as my JV commission. Now, let me ask you a question. How many of you on this call, or even watching this recording, think that you can do the same thing that I did? Give me a yes or a yes in the chat box. Brilliant. See, because this is simple, okay? It's not rocket science. It's just putting a couple of... Jim says, yes, but I need your assistance. Okay, we're going to come more to that near the end of the webinar. I want to share something with you guys in terms of how we can actually work together. But at the moment, yes, Murat, it is. It sounds simple, but you have to go out and do it. Action is the biggest thing, okay? And you can actually do this. It's very easy, and there's so much potential out there. It's just unbelievable. And I'm going to show you a couple of... case studies, of how to do that. Paul says, I don't know yet how to find the buyers. Right, I'm going to show you in this training how to do it. So I'm literally giving you everything for free, okay? And if you go and do it and you make $1 million, please, please, please let me know, right, that it worked for you, because I've had people come and see my training even when I spoke on the stage and make money from it, okay, without even coming onto any of my boot camps. So if you can do it and you want to do it, you can do it, okay? So I'd love for you guys to go out and do this. Right, okay, so and again, licensing is the most lucrative, okay, joint venture that you can do, and it's what I do a lot of. So a lot of people have asked me, okay, that's a cool joint venture that you've done. What other sort of joint ventures have you done? So I've been involved in online joint ventures. I was a person behind the scenes in some of the biggest internet marketing launches many years ago. I don't operate in that space anymore. I'm more in the corporate side now. I do a lot of B2B JVs where the big money is. But here's a deal that I did many years ago. Here's a friend of mine, Chris Farrell. I put him together. I brokered a deal between him and Mike Filsame. We launched affiliate.com and did just over $4 million on that launch. So, brokering can be done offline and for online products, but I prefer to teach my students to do real B2B offline JVs between real bricks and mortar companies. Okay, so again, look, doing joint ventures is very lucrative, okay? I was paid $30,000 for 1 day's consulting for a client in New York. Okay, and this was phenomenal. This client, I closed this client on LinkedIn without even picking up the phone. We did it all via messaging, and the client transferred $30,000 to my wire transferred to me to my bank account, paid for my accommodation, actually paid for my hotel room. This is my hotel room overlooking Central Park at the Mandarin Oriental, which is absolutely awesome. And it was a great. We spent a couple of days there. The client put us up for 2 days, and we ended up staying there for 5 days. And I actually took my my fiance with me as well, who was my fiance before she became my wife, and it was amazing. And it was all paid for. It was all paid for, which is quite awesome, which is what you can do with joint ventures. And I command that fee now. This is what I charge, $30,000 for a day of JV consulting for some of my top corporate clients. And I'm going to share later on exactly how you can do that also if you decide to become one of my students. Okay, so again, doing joint ventures is very lucrative. We were in Paris a few years ago, and I said to my wife that, if I close this deal, I'll buy you a Valentine's gift. So, I bought her a five-figure diamond ring when we were in Paris, and it was all paid for via one JV deal. Okay, so this is the potential of what you can do lucrative-wise doing joint ventures. Let's go even beyond that. When I got married, I retired. Actually, I didn't retire. I took some time off, and we moved to Dubai. I got bored in Dubai, and I launched a publishing company using joint ventures. We lived on the Palm, which was amazing. And we built this business while we were living in Dubai. So we had no idea how business works in Dubai. We had no contacts there. I couldn't speak. I didn't know how to speak Arabic. It's difficult enough doing business with the Arabs, but we managed to create a business which I set up for my wife, doing joint ventures. We got other people to do all the work using their resources, and we were the middle people doing the deals. So it's pretty cool. So all this, basically what I'm trying to say, it gives you the freedom to do whatever you want, wherever you want to work in the world, okay? And one of the things that we've always wanted was I do a lot of business in the US. 90% of my business is US based, and we have a holiday home over in Malibu, which is my favorite place in California, and that's where our holiday home is, overlooking Carbon Beach, which is an amazing place in itself. So I'm not showing you what you can, oh, you'll be rich like me. No, it's not about that. It's about having the freedom and flexibility to be able to do what you want in life. That's what this thing gives you, the possibility to do. So networking with gurus. So the great thing with joint ventures and networking is it allows you to operate at a higher level. So one of the things that I achieved by doing what I do was networking with the late J. Conrad Levinson. I met him at a few events, and I'm going to teach you some real cool strategies of how to network with like gurus and millionaires. And so we became really good friends, and we got together and wrote this book, which has been an international bestseller. This book has been responsible for me making millions of dollars through my consulting. Okay, this is what I use to get into big corporate clients. And I really would thank Jay for this. Jay passed away in October 2014, actually a couple of weeks before the book was finished. And the book launched in actually October 2015, actually a year after his death, his anniversary, and it was an international bestseller. A book is important, guys. If you want to operate at a higher level and make millions of dollars doing consulting, brokering, whatever, this is so important to have a published book. And I don't mean a self-published. This is published by a New York author, actually a New York publishing company. Same company who published one of my friends, Brendan Burchard, one of his books. I think it was The Millionaire Messenger. Brendan put me on to these guys, and they published my book also. And as you can see at the front, I've got an endorsement there from a good friend of mine, Kevin Harrington, one of the sharks of Shark Tank. So I'm pretty well connected in this space, and that's one of the things that all my students get, and everyone who works with me gets access to as well. Okay, so let's look at things let's go towards some training now. Now, one thing you need to have that's very important, okay, if you want to be successful at doing joint ventures, you need to have what I call as the joint venture mindset. Okay, so if you don't have the right success mindset, then you're destined to fail. So let me ask a question. How many of you here actually use visualization? How many of you actually use visualization? Give me a yes or a yes in the chat box. Okay, cool. Not now, have before. Okay, Paul, good. Murat says yes. Yes, I see it easy. And Jim, you hit the nail on the head, right? You're saying I see it easy. That's what visualization is. You know, every time I go into doing a deal, or I go into closing a deal, or I go into working with a corporate client, that's what I see. I visualize myself walking out of there with a signed contract or a signed deal. So brilliant. Thanks, Jim, for that. Very cool. Good to see you guys do actually use that. So that's very, very cool. Excellent. Okay, so here's the thing, right? And if you want to attract the energy of opportunity and success, then you should also use affirmations. So I know it's different here because I'm not on the stage, but I want you guys to repeat after me wherever you are, wherever you're sitting right now. So say after me, I am the right person in the right place at the right time, doing the right things with the right people. So that's an affirmation you use constantly, but you must go out and do it also. Okay. I remember once I got invited by T. Harv Eker to one of his Millionaire Mind intensives, and it made me slightly cringe when people were saying, I am a millionaire, or I think it was I will become a millionaire, and it was bizarre because I could see from some of these people, God bless them, that some of them would never take action. So, you've got to take the action first. It's no point having the affirmation if you don't take the action. Let me tell you that. I know that from experience. Also, another affirmation I want you to repeat after me is I'm aware of and open to unlimited joint venture opportunities. I'm involved in the best high-level joint venture opportunities. Now, this is really cool. When I'm in a room full of 5,000 people and 5,000 people stand up and say this, it's pretty awesome. So yes, affirmations are good. Okay, guys, use affirmations because they're very, very powerful. And one thing else as well, always see yourself as someone adding value to others. Okay, regardless of whether you don't make anything or don't make any money from what you're doing with someone, try and give value. Okay, I work with a lot of people where I don't always expect to get paid, or I don't always expect to make money, but I don't do that. I don't see people as dollar signs. Even on my programs, I am very very picky on who comes onto my boot camps, right? And I'm not after the money. I could have 50 people at a boot camp and just make shitloads of money, but I don't want to do that. I want to see myself as adding value to others, and I add value to everyone, regardless of whether it's my boot camps, my home study programs, or whether they want to spend time with me having a coffee and a chat over Skype. I always see myself adding value to others, and that's the biggest thing about this, how to be successful in this game. Right, so on to some proper training. So someone asked earlier, I wouldn't know where to start or how to find joint venture partners. I'm going to show you right now how to do that, okay? One of the best places to go to find joint venture partners is an existing mailing list, a customer list, or newsletter. Now, why is this one of the best places to start? Because customers have already done business with you, or the list owner, as a list owner, and they have a trusted relationship which could be leveraged. Okay, so this is one of the best places to start if you're looking for potential joint venture partners, by going out and finding lists, and finding people who have lists. Okay, so this is pretty cool. So here's some of the websites you can use, guys. So you want to write this down to find these potential lists. HighlightDMS.co.uk, run by a friend of mine, Mike Chantry. He supplies all the big lists, direct mail lists in the UK. If you're in the US and Canada, use MediaFinder.com, which is another one that's really cool. Another one, if you're looking for newsletter lists, is new-lists.com. So guys, I'm actually sharing with you resources that I only share with my students on my high-level boot camps, okay? But I want to give this to you because I believe you can go out and do this and replicate it and do very well with it. And if you need my help, I'm here whenever you need my help. So again, here's an example of if you go to Highlight's website, they're a mailing list broker. You search for a list. So this list basically is in the health and safety list, and they have over 892,617 buyers on their list. Now, if you were to rent this list, it would cost you £120 per 1,000 buyers. So calculate that by 892,000. And you don't really want to do that. You don't want to spend that much money acquiring the list. But I'm going to show you how to get access to the list for free. It also gives you the list owner's website, so you can get information. How many of you guys would like me to show you how to get access to mailing lists like this for free? Put a yes or a yes in the chat box. Matthew goes, of course. Jim says yes, please. Right, everyone's saying yes. Mike says Yahoo. Okay, that's that. I think that means yes. Okay, cool. I'm going to show you guys how to do that, right? I'm going to share with you. So I'm sharing some pretty cool stuff with you guys there. So this is not all about me just trying to pitch, okay? Paul's giving me like 10 yeses there. I think that means yes. Good. All right, guys. I'm glad you're finding some good value from this. Okay, so here we go. Before I do that, let's go into some other stuff, and I'll come back to that. So I won't ruin the surprise just yet. Okay, so seminars and paid events, guys, are a good place to also go and find potential joint venture partners. This is what I train my brokers. This is where you want to go and find potential joint venture partners. Because the thing is, you can meet and network with a lot of serious and motivated people at seminars and paid events. And here's the thing that I've learned, right? The higher the price of the seminar, the more players you'll meet, right? What does that mean? That means that if you go to free seminars where the tickets are free, you're going to find freeloaders, right? People who are just interested in free stuff. If you pay to go into a seminar, the people in the room, the potential business from doing joint ventures is huge, okay? Absolutely huge. But you have to ask the right questions. So when you meet someone at an event, the first question you ask them is, hi, Paul, how did you get started as a blank, as whatever it is they are, okay? That's an icebreaker question that opens up the introduction and communication and lets them warm to you. Then you follow that up with another question and say, oh, Paul, that sounds really interesting. So tell me, how can I help you sell more of your product or service? And then just shut up and be quiet. Now, Paul will tell you exactly what he needs. Now, as a joint venture expert, broker, deal maker, he'll tell you what he's looking for. All you've got to do is go out and find it, and then you can make money from it. Okay, so that's how we work as joint venture brokers and deal makers. Social network sites are very cool also. I mean, this is one of the main areas where I get all my deals, okay? And it helps you collaborate with other professionals and influencers in different networks. Some of the sites, obviously LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook is what I also use. Now I'm going to give you a tip here. I'm going to show you exactly what I do with social media and how I create deals. I use social media to connect with people who are key influencers in my industry. These people who have big followings, right? They could be gurus, they could be, experts in the space. And then I promote those people and recommend them. And I give them something for free of value. Nowadays, it's my book. I would give my book away to them. And in return, they would say, oh, I loved your book. What can I do for you? And when someone says to you, what can I do for you? You pretty much got them. And then I take them onto Skype and I have a dialogue with them, connect with them, and build a relationship with them. Okay, so here's an example. Social media is great. It counts for about 75% of my business and provides me with loads of deals, 7-figure deals. Here's an example. I reached out to this guy. He's a millionaire businessman, Neil Asher. I sent him a copy of my book, and he says, "Thanks for your incredible generosity, Sahel. You're an inspiring man." Okay, so I built this connection with him. And this is also how I connected with people like Kevin Harrington, who's a good friend of mine from Shark Tank, Brian Tracy, Joe Vitale, Ken Blanchard, who's a corporate guy, very well known in the corporate space, Brendan Burchard, who I spoke with. I actually spoke on stage with him at an event in Chicago about 2 or 3 years ago. Such a great guy. Tom Hopkins, #1 sales guru, and Robert Cialdini also. So I made really good friends with these guys, and most of them have endorsed my book also, which is really, really cool. So we looked at, we're looking at finding potential joint venture partners. We looked at how to go about, finding them in different areas. Let's look at Google now. So I'm going to give you a strategy to use Google to find potential joint venture partners. Google's great for finding potential venture partners. If you use a few tricks that I'm going to show you now, it could really narrow down your search results and give you great opportunities for finding them. So obviously, if you're using google.co.uk or .com, it works on any Google site. So here's what you do. Step 1. Write a list of keywords that most closely match your targeted market, okay? Now take each keyword and do the following search to find suitable joint venture partners. So let's say, for example, you are in the personal development space. If you type personal development plus newsletter, that'll give you a search for personal development newsletters. And you can do it for forum, blog. And once you've done that, step 2, with each list of results that you have, visit the most relevant sites that are ranked, especially the PPC ads on the right-hand side, and then use the following tool to check their suitability. www.whois.domaintools.com. This tool will tell you their Alexa ranking, how popular they are, whether they're blacklisted, how long they've been around, their visitors, and contact details. Now, remember, when I said to you, I'm going to show you a way to get a hold of mailing lists for free. Okay, here's a mailing list, 800,000 customers, buyers. Go to the website, do some research, and then what you're trying to do is you're trying to find the actual contact for the actual webmaster or the person that runs the site. Use that domain there, domaintools.com, to find the actual person who runs the site and contact them directly and say this. I've noticed that you have 892,000 buyers, and I have a product that I think will be really, really of good value to your existing customers. Would you be interested in doing a joint venture? And they will say yes, because they're selling their list. If they're selling their mailing list to make money, why wouldn't they do a joint venture with you as a broker? Okay, so that's how you do it. Pretty cool stuff, right? No one teaches you that. I think I'm the only person who teaches you exactly how to do that. Okay, so let's go back to step 3 of Google. Now you have this potential list of JV partners, and you want to put them in 3 checklists. A is the ideal partners with largest lists or traffic. B is the second group of potential JV partners, and C, you let someone else contact them later, but you focus on the A and B pile, okay, for getting hold of those JV partners. So what do you do next? Now you contact the potential JV partners. Now you can contact them via email, online. The thing with email is it's practical, it's easy, and it's cheap, and it's a great way to communicate with potential partners. But that's only when you're dealing with them, okay? Most business owners receive so much email that they don't always read proposals unless you have a very strong headline. So email's good, but it shouldn't be your only mode of contact. This is the best one, FedEx or special delivery. This is the best way to contact potential joint venture partners, and this is what we do when we do corporate, go after corporate clients. We use FedEx, but what we do is what we do is, and what I do actually is I send a copy of my book, and that's how I get clients. $30K and $50K a day, $30,000, $50,000 a day for JV consulting. So FedEx is good. You can use it to send your proposal or your joint venture, or whatever it is you want to communicate, and it gets past the first barrier because it gets past the gatekeeper. Okay, as long as you mark it as urgent, please hand deliver. Right, so always use that as the best way to get joint venture partners or even clients, joint venture clients. If you're ever going to use the phone, guys, only do it after you've sent out your book or a book like I have, or your joint venture proposal to follow up. Murat says, what if you don't have a book? What else can you do? You can send a proposal, or if you want to be really clever, you can send them a gift as go to what I used to do many years ago to get corporate clients. I used to go to the bookstore and get the top 10 business books and send a business book to a CEO with an inscription inside saying, I love what you do. I love your company. I wanted to just give this book to you as a gift. And here's my contact details, blah, blah, blah. And what happens is most of these guys will either get their secretary to contact you to say thank you, or they'll contact you directly and then ask you what you do. Then you can pitch them. Okay, I teach all this in my brokering bootcamp, how to get high-level consulting clients. And we have a strategy, we have a system which I'll talk more about later on. So using the phone is really good, but only use it after you've got you've sent your proposal out. Okay, you're welcome, Murat. That's fine. So only ever use it to follow up or to get an appointment. Never pitch any JV deals or any proposals on the phone unless you know the person very well. Okay, that's a big tip there. Okay, so here's my view on agreements and joint venture contracts. NDAs, for example. Only some people like to use an NDA as it legally stops other people ripping off your trade secrets, IP, or even your entire sales process. So only use it if you're sharing a trade secret, your IP, or entire sales process. Apart from that, don't worry about it. Joint venture contracts. Now, I provide all my brokers and all my clients with joint venture agreements and contracts, but only start drafting the agreement once a deal has been solidified and you have a confirmation to go ahead, right? Only do it at that point. Okay, so let's look at some case studies, which I promised you. This is Kim. I met her on Mike Forsane's Marketers Cruise a few years ago, and we had a brief conversation over dinner about what I do because she was really interested in becoming a JV broker. So she contacted me 2 weeks after the cruise and said, look, I'm working 2 or 3 jobs ahead for medical school and I need some help. So I said, okay, why don't you enroll on my JV coaching program and I'll take you through exactly how you need to go out and broker some deals. I also connected her with a few of my contacts. 6 weeks later, she came back and said, I've done my first JV deal. All she did was put together a product owner and a big list owner, okay, from one of the contacts I gave her. The product was a $99 a month membership site, and in her first week, she did 262 sales and took 20% as a commission. She did $5,000 in her first week, okay, and followed that up week on week. She was then approached by a drinks company, a high-end vodka drinks company, who was trying to find some JV partners. She JV'd his drinks into one of the top nightclub chains in Miami, making $35 a case with a minimum 2,000 order commitment. Okay, she pocketed $70,000 from that one deal. And it was really funny because she said to me at one time that why am I going to medical school to become a doctor when I can make more money being a JV broker? And thank God she stayed in school because she is actually now a qualified doctor, which is really, really cool. So I'm glad I managed to help her there. Here's another one of my students. This is Mark. He completed one of my JV broker boot camps and was originally looking to do a small JV. And after he had a strategy call with me, I said, look, why don't you go all out and just do a big deal? So he went through his own database and found a teddy bear manufacturer on his list. Okay. He then contacted one of the largest gift suppliers in the UK with a JV proposal. The gift supplier ended up ordering 60,000 teddy bears in year one, and Mark picked up a 45K as his JV commission. And I said to Mark, teddy bears, I mean, what kind of teddy bears were these? And apparently they were Bob Marley teddy bears, which was quite unique in itself as a gift, which he managed to do the deal on. Okay, this is Dan. Dan enrolled on my JV broker program, and after he had a strategy session with me, strategy call, he decided to do a quick online deal. So Dan was one of those guys who always asked, how quick can I make money, Sahel? I said, well, if you do an online joint venture, like a webinar joint venture, then yes, you can probably make money very, very quickly. So he approached one of the US's biggest internet marketing event organizers with a proposal. He then contacted me and said if I was willing to connect him with JV partners. So I connected him with a few of my well-known guru friends in the guru space. Dan did a 60-minute webinar and ended up with sales of $50,000, which for that he picked up 25% as his commission. So he made his money pretty quickly on that one. This is one of my best students. John enrolled on my JV broker program. He was already involved in real estate JVs, but wanted to learn how to put together corporate deals, which is what I do. So John approached a software company in Ireland and managed to connect them with a major distribution company in the US. So this is simple, guys, putting companies together, right? Which is what we do as brokers. He closed the deal at $2 million in year one. Okay, and took 15% as his JV broker commission. So he closed a bigger deal than I did at 2 million, but he took a 15% commission, whereas I made 1.5 million for my whole deal. And then after that, he came back and said, I've just closed another deal with Microsoft, where I put them together with a green energy company, and that contract he made $960,000 from that deal, which is pretty phenomenal. So he's one of my best students. Okay. Here's one of my recent students, Dr. Murray. He enrolled on my JV broker program actually not too long ago, a couple of months back. I give JV deals to all my students on the day on when they do the boot camp. Okay, so he was given a JV deal on the day of the boot camp by me. He took action very quickly. He approached one of the largest distributors of sugar in the world with a product I gave him. And he's very close to closing a deal worth $5 million with 15% as his JV broker commission. And here's the thing, guys. All this while still working full-time. He does this part-time, which is pretty phenomenal, but he's good. He's focused on one area, which is the health and safety area, that industry, and he's just targeting the health and safety industry very, very well. Okay, so this is some of my student case studies. So I just want to take you guys through, and if it's okay with you, to talk more about what I do and more about, why you guys are here to find out how to become a successful joint venture broker. So since 2011, I did my first JV brokering business program, teaching other people how to broker deals, and since then I've trained over about 100 JV brokers worldwide, and more JV brokers are still needed. So there's so much business out there. Here's my recent group in Las Vegas, my newly trained team of joint venture brokers. So what I'm doing, guys, is I'm doing another JV broker bootcamp. I do this brokering bootcamp, on a regular basis, and I'm doing another JV brokering bootcamp in April, which in 2016, obviously now. And what it includes is my 3-day live JV broker training, 90 days of coaching and mentoring for myself personally. I also hand you a JV deal on the day of the bootcamp worth at least 6 figures. You get my JV brokering home study program, which I also sell separately. So for those of you guys who can't attend the live training, I also do a home study version. You get all my JV templates and agreements. And you also get which is what I'm using right now to get into corporate companies, my client lead generation system. Okay, you get that, which is pretty phenomenal in itself. So here's a couple of testimonials. First of all, I want to take you through, Roxy Thomas says, having a real JV deal to work on was the main reason behind me signing up. I've already made back my investment. And Joy Packard says, I would never been able to become this successful at brokering JVs if it wasn't for the live training and support from Sahel. And here's a really good testimonial, guys. I just want to take you through this, and this gives you a reason why my program is so good. Sahel's course was a 3-day immersion into JV brokering. The way Sahel presents it is excellent because he breaks it up into segments each day. The groups are small. I mean, my boot camps are always small because I like to give a lot of time, especially one-to-one, to anyone who attends it. So the groups are small, which is nice, and it's very interactive. Sahel is so competent in this field, I wish I could have cloned him. He really is a master and explains everything so well. When you are finished on the 3rd day, you really feel that you can do this. I really would recommend this program because Sahel really delivers from his end. It will be up to you to take action, and he's with you every step of the way. He makes it clear that the support calls are a must from the beginning, and this has been great for me because it's about accountability. With other very expensive programs I purchased, it was after the course you are sent out on your own with no personal one-on-one like Sahel. So I offer you personal mentoring after the program. Also for 90 days, you get my coaching and full support. So guys, my boot camps are very small, strictly limited to 8 places only. And there's about, looking at the counter, there's about 100 of you guys on this call right now. So my next JV Brokering Business Bootcamp, my next live 3-day program is 15th to the 17th of April in London. I really do them in London, but I've had a couple of people sign up already. This is why I'm committed to doing one in London. So the date for London is 15th to 17th of April. Or if you're in the US and would like to fly to Vegas, 29th of April to the 1st of May, which is where I do all my boot camps in the US. Now, the total value of the package, if we added everything up, it'd be well over, 6 figures. But I normally sell my boot camp, my 3-day boot camp for $9,000. Now, when I first started, I sold it for $15,000. Okay. But now the boot camp that I have, it's a 3-day boot camp compressed down from 5 days to 3 days, and it normally sells for $9,000. Okay. But today I'm doing something amazing for all of you guys on the call today, listening and watching in. Here's what I'm going to do. First of all, I want to provide you with a live JV deal. What does that mean? That means I help you get your return on your investment quickly by providing you with your very first joint venture deal on the day of the bootcamp. No need to split the money. For that deal that I give you, you keep it all because it's all about return on investment. I want you to get your money back for the bootcamp straight away. And plus, here's another thing. I will also help you get your first $9,000 client. Now, I'm going to help you get your return on investment double quicker by also working with you over the first 90 days in our private brokering group to get you your first $9,000 retainer client. With just one client, you make your money back. Okay, simple. But there's more. I'm also going to give you a white label expert book. You will get a white label version of my #1 best-selling book on joint ventures to get high-level clients for JV consulting like I do, including the same script that I paid $10,000 for to use. So now you will have expert status to go out there and do consulting, brokering, and deal making. It's absolutely phenomenal what you get with this program. So this in itself is just worth $10,000 just as a bonus I'm giving you, right? This is pretty phenomenal. And there's more. So for all of you guys on the webinar today or on the webinar, I have a special webinar offer. My 3-day JV Brokering Business Group Bootcamp is normally $9,000. Now, I've just got 6 places left now, guys, for UK and US, and they will fill quickly because I keep my bootcamp small. I already have places sold for the UK dates and the US dates, and I've just got 6 places left for each. And there's 100 of you guys on the call right now, and there will be probably people watching the webinar replay as well. So, but this is the webinar only offer, okay? So you pay just $6,000 for the training and support if you apply today, okay? After watching this webinar, okay? Or if you want to, you can also pay in 2 payments of $3,250. So I'll allow you to pay in 2 payments because I know some of you, probably couldn't stretch to $6,000, but most people do. But if you wanted to, I would allow you to pay also in 2 payments because I give you 90 days of support, and that's fine. So here's the next step. If you're serious about being successful, ask yourself this. What is it really costing you to stay where you are? My program is $9,000, but I'm discounting it to 6 if you take action quickly. But what is it really costing you? Is it costing you more than $6,000 to stay where you are? By investing $6,000, could you do much better than where you are right now? Okay? So here's what I want you to do, guys. I want you to submit your application below right now if you're interested in my bootcamp at www.jvconsultingbusiness.com/bootcamp. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just type this in the chat box for you guys, so you've got the URL there. Okay, so it's http://www.jvconsultingbusiness.com/bootcamp. Okay, so there's the URL. Click that URL, go to that site, fill in the form there, and submit your application, and we'll get on a discovery call and find out if the program's right for you. Now, here's the thing. The program's not right for everyone, okay? But I need to have a conversation with you on the phone and actually tell you if the program's right for you or not. I could take anyone's money and get anyone to come to my bootcamp, but it doesn't work like that because I'm giving you a pretty hefty return on investment, which is more or less a guarantee, okay? That I will help you recover that by giving you a deal and also helping you get your first $9,000 client. I can only do that if I qualify you, right? I'm not comfortable doing that with just having anyone show up at my bootcamp, which I know that I can't probably help. So again, it's www.jvconsultingbusiness.com/bootcamp to see if you qualify for this program. So guys, if you've got any questions for me, I'll open it up now. And if you want to ask questions about the bootcamp or about the training, please go ahead and put your questions in the chat box for me if you've got any questions. For those of you who are interested in the bootcamp or finding out more about the bootcamp for London and Las Vegas, please go now to www.jvconsultingbusiness.com/bootcamp. Okay, guys, what I'd like to ask, actually, I'd like to ask you all a question before you start asking me questions. How did you find today's training? Did you get a lot of value from it? And is it something that you think you can actually go out and do yourself? So just tell me how you found the training. Okay, cool. Alan says, "Yes, I can do this. God bless you for this." No, Alan, thank you. No, thank you for coming. Steve says, "Yes, I would really like your help, and I'm going to fill in the application." Okay, Steve, that's good. Michael says, "Yes, I've done a couple of JVs before, but I would really like some guidance to do some corporate style JVs." Okay, fine, that's Michael. If you go and fill in the application form, that's good if you want to do that. Steve says, "Yes, thank you very much. The Media Finder really helps." Brilliant, Steve, that's fine. Thank you for coming on the training call today. Guys, any more questions for me about the, actually, any more questions about the bootcamp you got? Or any questions about the today's training, or any questions in general? I'm here to help, and I'm here to help you guys. And like I said, if you guys are interested in finding more about the bootcamp, just go to the URL and fill in the form. Steve says, "I'm interested in the home study program." Steve, could you do the same thing? Just fill in your details at that website, www.jvconsultingbusiness.com/bootcamp, and I'll tell you more about the home study program there as well. So if any of you guys are interested in the bootcamp or the home study program, go to that URL and put your details in there, and I'll be able to tell you more about how that works. So guys, there's a lot of you still on this call. Just keep the questions coming in. That'd be really, really cool. Yeah, Alan, that's fine. I mean, some of this stuff you can actually go out and try, but let me know how you get on. And if you need some guidance, I've always got, my home study program, or, just go into YouTube, and I've got loads of videos on there that can help you, and that shouldn't be a problem. So guys, any more questions for me? I'd love some more questions. Has anybody got any questions about the bootcamp or about the home study program? Any more questions, guys? If we get some more questions, fine. If not, then I'll wrap this training up very soon because it's being recorded, and you'll all get a copy of the recording as well. So don't worry about that, guys. Again, thank you very much for coming on to this call. I really appreciate your time. Oh, Steve says JVs can be applied globally. Is there any specific ones in Canada? Steve, I have actually I have some. One of the deals that I give to my students. Paul says I've signed up. Talk to you soon. Oh, thanks, Paul. Very cool. One of the deals that I give to my students is from a Canadian company, which is very cool. So I can't tell you more about it because then I would spoil the surprise for people coming to the boot camp. But yeah, Canada's easy to do deals. I have a lot of people fly in from Canada for my program, and vice versa. I mean, if you're based in Canada, you can do deals in Canada and the US, so it's pretty cool. Alan says, what is your opinion on the Latin American market, specifically Colombia, Chile? Well, Alan, think about it. I did deals in Dubai in the Middle East where I had no experience whatsoever. The market, it doesn't matter where you go in the world, right? Everyone, every person as a human being has the trait to do business with each other, right? So yeah, I mean, I think it's a great market in itself. I think I have a couple of people actually based in Colombia that I do business with. So doing business there is absolutely easy once you know how to put together deals. So Jim says, always good to hear what you have to say. I already have your home study course. Oh, brilliant. And read your book and I've always followed you. I will complete from us. Can talk easy. Thank you. I'm going to. Okay. Yeah, Jim, if you, like I say again, Jim, if you email me, um, and I'll see what I can do for you. Where are you based, Jim, by the way? What's your location? Oh, yes, of course, Australia. See, Australia is one. I have one broker in Australia who did a home study program. Obviously, Jim, you're another one. But I haven't done any boot camps in Australia before. So I always say if I get the right numbers, I'd love to do it. But yeah, complete the form, and I get on a call with you, no problem at all. We can get on a call together, and I can see how I can help you because obviously you've already invested in one of my programs. When it comes to international laws, you really need to have access to an attorney or a legal. But I can also help you on that because I have them in my network. So yes, I can help you with when it comes to setting up international deals. Uh, Mike says thanks for the 3 month deal, Mike. Yes, no problem, Mike. Ah, Sarah, how are you, Sarah? How did you find the training, Sarah? That's okay, Sarah. What I'll do is I will send you a copy of the replay. Did you manage to catch the back end of the training about the boot camps? Oh, brilliant. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay, cool. You inquired about the home study, Sarah. Was that correct? Yes. Are you still interested in the home study, or would you like to come to a live boot camp? Sarah says yes. Yeah. Okay. Oh, of course. Yeah. You're in Sydney also. You guys in Australia. I would come to Australia if I had more people put their hands up in terms of doing a boot camp. But I tell you what, I sent you an email regarding the home study program, which I know you're interested in. Just give me your thoughts on that. If you want to go ahead, then I'll get you signed up to that. I would love to come to Australia, but like I said, I need more people. If I could get more people, um, I'll see what I can do. I've got a couple of people on my network, but yeah, I think if Jim says the home study programs, I think so. If you started on the home study program, and if I did a boot camp in Australia, then you could always attend that also. But yeah, definitely shoot me an email. If you want to go ahead with the home study program, I would do that to start off with. And then if I ever do a boot camp in Australia, I'll always do something for my students who have purchased the home study. Yes. If you've already automatically signed up to this webinar, you will get an email from GoToWebinar with a link to the replay. Okay? So you will get all that. But like I said, guys, again, if you're interested in the bootcamp or the home study program, it's jvconsultingbusiness.com/bootcamp. And, half of you are still on this call, which is pretty cool. Um, okay, any more questions for me? Otherwise, we're going to sort of begin to wrap up things. But yeah, go over for those of you guys who are on the fence, go over the training again, go over through the webinar, and just apply to get on a call with me, and we can have some fun. And if it's something you're interested in, we can get you signed up to the boot camp. Yes, Jim, you have a potential deal with 600,000 customers. pretty cool. Okay, let's get on a call and see how we can help you on that. That sounds like a really, really good deal. Mike, you're very welcome. Thank you for coming on to my training. And guys, it's all about taking action. Okay, I want each individual one of you to actually go out and try this, and you'll be amazed at what you can do with it. And some of you guys who do make money from it, those of you guys, if you want to come back and come to one of my boot camps, then definitely, I would say definitely. Okay, guys, if we've got any more questions, let's do it. If not, I'm gonna wrap the training call up and wish everyone a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And yeah, it's been good. Thank you very much, guys. And we had a great attendance on this call. I always enjoy doing these training calls. Okay. Yes, you guys will get the recording. Look out for an email from GoToWebinar, and there'll be a link in that to the recording. But you should get that, so that shouldn't be a problem. If you don't, drop me an email and I'll send you a copy of the recording. All right, guys, thank you very much. For those of you guys who have signed up to talk to me about the boot camp or even the home study, thank you very much. And for the rest of you, definitely keep in touch. Okay, guys, take care, and I'll speak to you soon.